Beautiful. Hey, everybody. So we did an incredible new moon activation last night. It was a free call, went out to everyone. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the replay or you weren't on that call, maybe play it tonight before you go off to sleep. It's very healing. A lot of intense energy is flooding the planet and will be for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So keeping our vibration high and staying grounded is so important. And it's really important that all of you are just allowing yourself to bathe in all of these energies and to not feel like you're being, knocked over by it. And so clearing stuff in the ego is absolutely the perfect timing right now with this energy on the planet. This is the perfect time to do it. This regression, a lot of people, this is their very favorite. My favorite is the one in Lemuria with the dolphins, but this is a very powerful activation. So really quick before we go into the activation, I just want to remind you guys about what we talked about on Saturday and tuning into the energy and the vibration of Malta. And I know he told you the story about me being there in Malta in the cave and all the things that were happening and how powerful and intense it was for me. And one of the other things that happened while I was there is I went to a place called the Hypergeum. And if any of you, I know some people from the last class actually went to Malta over the summer. And if any of you have a chance to go to the sacred sites, they're really profoundly beautiful and powerful. And if you can spend time there in meditation or silence, you can really feel their vibration. But there's a very holy place called the Hypergeum. Takes almost a year, I think, and I don't know if that's still true, but to get tickets. And you go down under the earth and you're in like a cave-like setting. And when you're in there, you can really feel the energy. And there's a lot of, when you make a sound, the echo and the toning and the harmonics is so powerful. But I had a very powerful experience happen to me there. And although I'm able to channel, and I've done that a long time, and I can intuitively sense things and hear the angels and get the downloads, I'm not somebody who sees angels or beings or anything like that. I've never had those gifts. But when I was in Malta, in the Hypergeum, it was the only time in my life that I really, really completely saw, I guess it would be like an apparition. And it was really intense and amazing. And two energies came forward, and one was the Divine Mother. And it was just so, so breathtakingly beautiful. And the other one was kind of silly. So it was these tiny, tiny little dots that just all kept coming together, and they formed the outline of what you would think of as Merlin, with a wizard hat and a beard. And it was laughing and joking and being playful. And it was this really sweet energy. And I had never really tuned into the energy of Merlin before because I think of it as like a character in a movie, or I'm not really that tuned in. But I have since then over the years. And what a powerful and fun being. And Merlin is going to come with us into Starseed too and play with us and bring us more humor and laughter. And we're going to go to Avalon and to Glastonbury and tune into the fairies and the divas and the elementals and the herbs, and into the trees and get our sense of humor back and all that stuff. So it's just perfect that we end, with our regression work in Atlantis. And then as we move into the next class, we're going to pick it up from where I got that vision, which was in Malta, in the Hypergeum. So tonight during the regression, we kind of go to Malta. So you want to energetically sort of tune into it. And we're going to go into, that city Ashtara, and we'll kind of delve into the water. So I just want to give you a couple quick visuals of what the temples in Malta look like to help you in your visualization during the regression. So here is a photograph I took of one of the temples in Malta. You can see how beautiful they are. It just gives you a feeling. Now, Raphael says that imprinted actually in the limestone is the energetic vibrations that we're going to be working with tonight. Since it gives you kind of an idea of what they look like. See, this one has the beautiful spirals on it. They're really incredible. This is a portion of a statue that they found. I have a replica of it. It's called the Sleeping Lady, and it was found in the Hypergeum, and you can read about that. It's really cool. And then this is the water in Gozo in the cave where we're going to be traveling tonight. So it just gives you a feeling energetically of where we're going. Okay. All right. So if everybody just wants to get settled, hopefully you're in a dark place. Hopefully you're laying down. Hopefully your phone is off and you're not being disturbed. And just take a few nice deep breaths and settle in. And then Raphael's going to come in and start toning. And Raphael talks in the beginning of the regression for 5 or 10 minutes before we really delve deep into it. So just take in the vibration of it and know that something really, really powerful is happening. These are really profound activations. Okay, I love you guys. Here we go. Great excitement in the vicinity and vibration and energy of Ashtara, which is underneath the water near Gozo in the region of the Mediterranean Sea near Malta. And it is that this particular energy, very different than the vibration and energy of Telos, has not been at the forefront of being known or understood much until now, for it is just beginning to reveal itself and coming out to be known and to be felt. However, it has been being held and projected and preparing for this time for a very, very long time. And right now, the vibration of Sheila and Adama, Saint Germain and Lady Portia and the Queen Clamira are here this evening to connect and to communicate with all of you. But they are wanting perhaps to, through the transmission or translation of my vibration, to give you a little understanding and perspective as to what is occurring. For many of you have been attuning to the energy of Telos and the vibration of Mount Shasta with an understanding that this particular crystalline city that dwells in a sense beneath the earth, although vibrating at a frequency way beyond that of the third dimension, is one in which during dream time and sleep time, you are able to visit and to go into the different temples and to receive understanding, wisdom, and knowledge from the mystery schools to begin to bring back through into the waking time of where it is that you are. However, much of the work in which you are currently doing, there is not much conscious awareness of it. For some of you, there is a little, but for others, there is not. And yet you are working at a very deep and profound level during sleep time. And it is important for us to remind you that an intention prior to going to sleep, that you are wanting to visit a particular temple to work with the vibration or the energy of transmutation or forgiveness or healing or health or creativity or science or whatever it may be, that as you are intending to do that, that will transport you at a quicker rate, and your ability as a remembering during your intention before traveling, that you retain what you are learning and that you can carry it back into this experience will support you in beginning to widen the space between worlds in which you can travel more easily between them with a conscious awareness and remembering of the work in which you are working working on at any given moment in time. And it is that there is great coordination between these two crystalline cities of Ashtara and Telos. And although one is vibrating with the energy of Lemuria and the other of Atlantis, and although Lemuria has been seen and understood to be the divine feminine and Atlantis the masculine, there is a polarization or a change in the magnetic field in which they have switched in a sense right now, in that they are needing to hold the polar opposite in order to balance it, meaning that the energy in Telos will be providing for all of you as you are going forward more information as to how to realign with the gifts and the talents of those moments in time, and embodying the energies there, in which the vibration of Atlantis will be holding more of the feminine energy, where it is combining it. And perhaps a way to begin to understand or to think of this as we look at you and we see you and we love you from where we are. You are a glowing, beautiful orb of light or joy that is bouncing around, and that we can see as we are looking at that orb of light that from our perspective, perhaps if you were to think of it like the vast ocean, and that you right now happen to be a droplet of that ocean, and that droplet is beginning to come out of the water, and as it does so, the sunlight begins to hit it, and as the sunlight hits it, it becomes fragmented in the sense that it creates a rainbow, a spectrum of light. And that spectrum are rays, and those rays are projected into the Lemurian energy as different rays of information, teachings, and wisdom that are there for you to tune into at any given moment in order to elevate your vibration and your learning. And then when you bring the rays back together and you begin to unify them and they go back into the light, they are projecting an orb of a unified field of awareness. And that particular energy right now is the energy that is being held and embodied in the Atlantean frequency in Ashtara. And it is that as you begin to work with both of these frequencies together and simultaneously, as they begin to reacquaint themselves and come into balance, as they begin to shift from one to the other, they stimulate and open the third eye, which supports you in fully activating and awakening to the way in which you are able to live during both of these times, and the gifts that were available to you, and utilizing them at the highest frequency. And so as you tune in and travel to the vibration and the place of Malta, it is that the stones there and the temples there, including the Hypergeum, where many of you had worked and lived as high priestess during the time of bringing birth and children into the world, and the time of the leaving of the body and death, and the rituals and ceremonies that were conducted there and in all of the temples. And although many of the understandings and the history of reading and learning about these temples will tell you they were aligned with the sun and the moon, the equinox and the solstice, in order to connect to higher vibrational frequencies in the star systems, and also to be utilized for festivities and festivals and birth and death and rituals. There is so much more to it than that. And it is that the stones themselves are alive, and they are imprinted with the memory and the knowing of the Atlantean time. And they are holding the parts of that time in which are now wanting to come to the surface to be remembered, not the parts that got infiltrated by outside forces that created the destruction and the decline, but the time in which the civilization was fully thriving in a unified field of love. And the imprint of that is carried within the stone and the limestone that dwells inside these temples. And it is energetically, it has been for eons and eons of time, holding the crystalline fifth dimensional vibration of Ashtara so that it would be able to continue to embody the energy of the presence of the I Am. And so it is that as that is occurring, it is now time in linear time in history on your planet to have access to this energy as you are ready to do so. And so, although that has been a lot of talking, we are wanting to bring awareness first to you, because what you will be doing this evening is extraordinarily powerful. And it will require a surrendering and a willingness to completely quiet the mind and to absorb the codes of this knowing and this remembering, which will require simply just being. You will not have to think about or visualize or do anything, but you will have to be. And so we shall begin now. We're wanting you all to just take a moment and take a nice deep breath all the way in and let go. And another, if you would like, all the way in and let go. Beginning to allow all the energy of the day and the week to fall away as if beautiful autumn leaves are floating down a river. Allowing now your head to feel relaxed and your neck to feel relaxed and your shoulders to let go and your arms to let go. Dropping down into your solar plexus, releasing any tension, allowing the energy in the hips to drop and the legs to relax and the knees and the feet. Feeling a beautiful energy as Saint Germain just washes his violet flame over you, releasing and transmuting any energy of the day or week that is no longer serving you. And as this is happening, you start to feel your eyes getting heavier and heavier and heavier as you begin to bring more awareness to your breath, breathing gently, noticing where it is that you are sitting or lying down, that the temperature where you are is exactly the way it needs to be. And any sounds that you hear are just supporting you to go deeper and deeper into this journey, knowing that you are safe and protected as a cocoon of light is all around you. Archangel Michael is here circling you with his light, his sword of love, bringing you on this journey with deep and great excitement. For it is that the beings are so excited for you, knowing that you're going to see and feel and bring great clarity to who you are in a deep remembering of the essence of your being. And as your eyes are just getting now heavier and heavier and heavier, you start to feel the essence, the spirit of who you are lifting now out of the body as it begins to just float. And as it is floating, your intention is to go toward the energy and the vibration of Malta, seeing and feeling the hot sun and the beautiful water. As you begin to land now with your feet in the sand, looking out at the horizon, seeing the water, the deep blue color. And as you look out at the horizon, you begin to feel the sand beneath your feet as the water laps over them, starting to feel the garment on your body as a robe, one that you have worn as a priest and high priestess. And as you turn away now from the ocean's edge and you look behind, you see a staircase made of limestone. And as you begin to walk up the staircase, you feel the sun upon your brow and the hood of your cape over your head. And as you walk, you feel the flowingness of your robe as it trails behind you, walking up the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you come to the top of the stairs, you see a beautiful temple with grand, large limestones. And in front of the temple are 2 holes of colored lights piercing through. And as you begin to approach the temple, it scans your body and clears it of anything out of alignment, calibrating your vibration now to this temple. And as you pass through these colored lights into the center of the temple, your other starseed friends arrive as you stand together in a circle. There's somewhere for you to sit behind you, feeling the stone and the coldness of it, and yet the power. And as you sit together in this circle, in the temple, the sun begins to fade as the night sky begins to appear. And as you look up, you see the stars, and they are glistening and shining, reminding you of where you came from, that you are a star seed. And you see the temple is aligned with Sirius and Orion, the Pleiades. This is not by accident, but this was a communication center as you communicated with your home planets, with the star beings who love you, who brought you information, technology, wisdom, and ways to live. As you walked through the temples, you remember the way that you lived then, with all of your gifts activated. Things seem so beautiful, filled with so much color and lightness. You remember what it was like. And yet, you know that as you walk through, you also remember the destruction, that the things got out of control, that the ego took over, and that the technology was used not for the better good of all, but for experiments and for self-empowerment, for superiority, and for comparison, for hierarchy, for domination and control. And when this happened, this heaviness, this darkness, it carried over and imprinted itself like a blanket of dark light around the globe. And as this happened, it got imprinted in the souls and the cells and the DNA and the memory
of every lifetime that you have had since then. That trauma was carried with you, and the ego continued to grow and to expand to the point that it forgot that it even was an ego. It became so commonplace that it was not even seen for what it was. But you decided to come back to this place in Malta. You decided to bring the light back to it, to see it for what it was, so that it for once and for all could find its original home in the back seat. And so Queen Clamera is here, and she has been preparing a temple for you in Ashtara. And inside the temple are golden discs, and there is a golden disc for each one of you. And she would like you to come with her now. And so as you come back down the steps from the temple, walking down with your robes, looking ahead at the water, you see the boats are beginning to arrive. And as they arrive with their beautiful sails, Clamera invites you to come upon the boat and to come with her now to Ashtara. Ashtara is a place in which there have never been visitors of your kind, for you will be the first. And with great honor, she asks you to come now. And as you climb upon the boat and it begins to sail away, you feel the sun on your face and the wind in your hair, looking at the beautiful water and its turquoise blue sailing along. And as you move away from the island of Malta, you see in the distance a smaller island, one to the left and one to the right. And you start to drive through with the boat, looking at the cliffs and the water and the waves. And the sailboat begins to come to a slowing as you see ahead a swirling energy in the water, like water moving around a drain. It is a vortex and it is a portal. It is moving quite rapidly. But you know that you are safe and that you have chosen to do this work and that you are ready now to go to Ashtara. And so with that, you dive off the boat and into the water. And you swirl around and around, and it brings you some laughter and joy. And as you let go and you open your heart and you begin to surrender, you allow the water to carry you. And as it begins to carry you, it carries you toward a shore. And you see the cliffs there and a cave. And as the water carries you deep into the cave, the water begins to lap against the sand, and you sit inside the cave with the sand there, knowing as your feet is deep in the sand and the water above you, you feel at peace and at home. And Clamera says, I'm going to invite you now in. Open your heart as you feel a door open into the cave. And as you go in now, the door is open. You see the light emanating, where it is filled with crystals for as long and as far as you can see. And Clamera says, come with me now, my dear ones, follow me. And as you follow her, she brings you to a hall. And as she opens this door, there are golden discs everywhere. They are on the floor, they are floating, they are everywhere, and they are spinning. And there is one golden disc for you. And as you begin to approach this disc, it comes toward you and you hold it. And as you hold it, it asks you if you want to see your ego. You want to see all the times in every single lifetime in which it was activated, in which you were complaining, gossiping, comparing, boasting, being defensive. And with that, the golden coin becomes alive like a projection. And you can just look now for a moment, not with judgment, but as a witness to the ego. Do you hear the water coming? It is washing it away now, and cleansing and clearing it. As you see it begin to wash away, it collapses as the golden disc literally disappears. It is gone. Clamira says, thank you for this. It is the willingness for you to see it and to look at it, the awareness of it that allows it to fall away. And so now as you stand there, you see Saint Germain coming in and Lady Portia. I am Lady Portia, and I come to you from the inside of Ashtara. My dear sweet ones, you are welcome as our first visitors into the doorway of your own knowing. So come with me now for the most magnificent and incredible moment of your life. Come with me. Do you see me as I look at you? My soft cheeks and my wide eyes and my love for you. Do you see my robe of white and golden thread with violet energy swirling around? Do you see the Maltese cross upon my chest? Do you see how I am open and here for you? That it is that I have come to bring you to the most magnificent place that you have ever been. And now that you have done all of this work and traveled so far to enter into Ashtara as the star seedlings that you are, my sweet children, come with me. And as you walk with me, look and feel the energy of our place. Do you feel the white alabaster energies of the walls emanating light for you? Come walk with me toward this new place. As you look, do you see that there are doorways all around, everywhere? There are so many doorways, and all of them are filled with all of the rainbows of light. But look now closely, for there is one doorway with your name on it. We will give you a moment to see and to feel it. Do you see your name written on the doorway? We placed it there as a place for you, knowing that you were coming. Do you see your name on the doorway? The door is gold and rainbows of color are coming out of it, all around, swirling like beautiful rainbows of light. Now, my dear one, as I stand next to you, as you stand next to me, looking at the golden door with your name, you have left behind on the golden disc your small self, your little self, your personality self, your ego. But you're going to open the doorway now to something you have not felt or remembered in eons and eons of time. But today, in this moment, you shall. And so, together, we're going to open the door now. And as we open it, you shall step through and into the fifth dimension. And as you step in, you have just stepped into the I am presence of who you are. We want you to feel the I am presence of who you are. I am that I am. You are now in a sea of awareness of the I am that I am. You are bathed in the I am presence of who you are. You are in the awareness. I am presence. I am. Just absorb all of the rainbows, colors of light, unifying within you as we are unifying you back to the merging presence of the I am that I am. Just sit in that. Feel the I am presence of who you are. Feel your I am. I am that I am. Pure awareness. There's no form here, no thought, just awareness, consciousness. I am. I am. I am. I am. I am. Feel all the light absorbing in and around. You are everything. You are the light. You are awareness. I am that I am. You are receiving now a merging of completeness with who you are. The starseed, remembering awareness, presence. I am. I am. Nothingness and everything. You are the 0 point. When you are ready, there's another doorway in front of you. As you start to bring your awareness more to singularity, to a presence of knowing, as you pass through the doorway in front of you into the field of the heart flame where I live and dwell as Lady Portia, I activate within you the heart flame of love. And as you stand before me, I take the Maltese cross off of me and I place it upon you, on your heart, activating now your heart to be the guiding force and the driver of your experience from this day forward, from a place of conscious awareness of the I am presence of who you are, leaving behind you the mind and the ego to be your servant, to call upon as your tool when needed. But when not called upon now, sits quietly in its box, waiting to be used for useful purpose, knowing that you as the heart now are aligned with the I am presence of awareness. As the Maltese cross reminds you that you may return to Ashtara to walk through the door, your door, to the presence of who you are, the reminding and knowing of the heart center flame of love. As you feel the Maltese cross on your heart, you can see the golden thread sewing it in now as a seal of protection, a seal of love, a seal of awareness, and a reminding of the star seed presence that dwells within. You have been encoded now with the awareness that will stay with you for the rest of this lifetime and beyond, of the I am that I am, being in the forefront of your knowing and conscious awareness in all activities, all words spoken, all ways of being, interacting and living will come now from the driving force of your heart, of the I am that I am presence, with a full conscious awareness of the vastness of who you are beyond the small self of the personality and body to the larger, higher self, fully activated now and awake to move through more doorways into the teachings of Thoth and Isis and Saint Germain and myself, of Adama and Sheila, of all of the archangels, beings of Elohim, the Starseed brothers and sisters, the ascended masters of the Divine Mother, of Buddha and Christ, all beings of higher light who have ascended to the I Am presence through the ascension of the codes of love, are now accessible to you through the doorway of your own knowing that has now been imprinted and realigned with who you are. Bringing your hand to your heart as you embrace the Maltese cross as a code, for there is no coincidence that it lies upon the heart of Saint Germain and myself, for Malta has been a secret in many ways, preparing for a time as like now, when you are ready to have awareness of the great Atlantean remembering of Ashtara, who holds the flame of the I Am presence, of the awareness of the highest self of who you are. Our doorway is open to you to visit during sleep time or waked time, to visit our knowing, to walk through the doorway and realign. But you will now forever, for the rest of your life, have this awareness where you have been encoded and imprinted with the great remembering of the I am that I am. Now, as your hands come down, you may come back with me as we walk through Ashtara. You begin to feel the water again as you've just appeared outside of the city, back in the cave, looking out now at the sunlight and the deep blue water. As you see the sailboat coming, you swim now out into the vortex, knowing that you will never be the same again, that the joy now that will emanate from your heart will be of a different quality, and that you will see the world in a new way, in this awareness that has now been connected and put inside through the Maltese cross of the I am that I am, will always be with you for eternity. You may climb upon the boat, and as you get up, you see all the masters welcoming you, because you are on a new vessel, an upgraded vessel, where you do not kneel now before the master, but you stand beside them as equal in the remembering of the I am. And as the boat begins to take off, sailing back to the shores of Malta, you see behind you the distance as the island of Gozo becomes smaller, beginning to arrive now back at the beautiful island and temples of Malta. As you step down from the sailboat, climbing up the limestone steps, you move now back into the temples, and now you understand them. You know what they are saying. You feel them in a new way, and you thank them for holding Ashtara in place for you so that you could have this remembering. And you are bonded now to all the other beings, the star seeds with you, in that you have remembered who you are. And so I want to remind you that as you start to bring awareness back to where you are, that you are coming back now different. Something has changed. You'll never be the same, for you will see the world through the lenses of love, knowing that the I am presence that dwells within you is alive, and that you have a full and complete awareness of it. And that everyone you see within them, whether they see it or not, their I am presence, because they and you are one. I'm wanting you now to just bask in that awareness and hold that remembering. Sleep tight and good night.
All right, everybody. Sleep tight and good night. I love you all. We'll see you all on Saturday. Love, 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 everyone.